Ayan, good na afternoon. Panibagong taon, panibagong episode na naman ng ating programang G na G, The Galing Pook Show. Good governance pa rin ang ating ibibida ngayong hapon. At syempre, pati ang GV o Good Vibes na mga kwento mula sa mga game na game sa larangan ng serbisyo publiko. Ako si Georgina Hernandez Yang, Executive Director ng Galing Pook Foundation. At syempre, all the way from Zamboanga City, from our Board of Trustees, pagbate para sa aking G na G na co-host, gwapo-gwapo at magaling na magaling. Magandang hapon at welcome back, kapatid na Kiko.
Magandang hapon, kapatid na Georgina, at sa lahat ng ating mga manonood. Ngayong hapon na to sa G na G, The Galing Pook Show. Isa na namang magaling na mayor mula sa Adapt and Innovative Leadership Course ng Galing Pook Academy at ng DILG-LGA ang makakasama natin ngayong hapon. Panoorin muna natin itong video throwback ng ating A+I last month. Nakakatuwa naman panoorin yung video na yun, kapatid na Georgina. At tuwang-tuwa ako, talagang give na give ang ating mga participants, no? Talaga yung presentations nila, their great output, at ganda-gandang tignan. Pero Georgina, para sa mga viewers natin, no, na mga bagong viewers natin at mga bagong followers natin, pwede mo can you give us a brief background kung ano ba itong A+I program ng Galing Pook at ng DILG-LGA?
Ayan, so may kwento lang, no? 2016, nung unang sinimula ng Galing Pook Academy, nung Adaptive and Innovative Leadership in Local Governance, or tinatawag natin for short na A+I, na marami na rin, 7 batches na halos yung ating nagawa. Itong nakita nating video, naganap yan noong January dito sa Manila, kasama ng 11 local government units. At ang ginawa natin dyan ay yung grounding and visioning, kung saan pinagdaanan ng mga mayors, kasama ng mga kasama natin ngayon, yung iba't ibang mga module tungkol sa pagtingin sa sitwasyon sa kanilang mga local government at ano yung na-visualize nila for the future. Kung mapapansin mo, may drawings, no, banda doon sa dulo. So, the visualizing the future, reimagining the possibilities sa mga communities, especially in terms of local economic recovery and local economic development. So, I think magiging napakasaya ng usapan natin, and we will learn more about A+I in our conversation this afternoon, kabilang sa mga lokal na pamahalaan na bibo sa ating Adapt and Innovate Leadership Course ang makakasama natin ngayong hapon. Pag pinag-usapan ang sibuyas, ito, napaka-popular na topic. Pag pinag-usapan ng sibuyas, sila ang pinakamatunog na lugar. Dahil mayroon rin silang programang isinali sa 2022 Galing Pook Awards na cold storage para sa mga sibuyas. Live na live sa G na G, Palayan City Mayor Vianne Cuevas. Magandang hapon, Mayor.
Hi, good afternoon. Mr. Kiko. Thank you for having me today.
Ayan. So, Mayor, na napag-usapan namin kanina na bahagi nga kayo nitong A+I, and last year we were so happy na nakilala namin kayo sa Galing Pook Awards. If not for that, hindi namin kayo makakasama dito sa very exciting journey in the Adapt and Innovate. But before anything else, maybe you could share what inspired you to join government, no? What inspired you na pumasok sa politika?
Um, as you know, yung mom ko was mayor before I was. So she really set the ball rolling for me. When I see her work, parang it 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 brings me a lot of joy, and it's nice to see someone like her really put all their whole heart into public service. And actually, ngayon, I'm even more grateful na I was able to join the ANI course kasi nakikita ko din yung ibang mayors from other towns. I get a lot of exposure into different programs that are run in other towns. And that motivates me even more actually, and it's really nice to see.
Yeah. Talaga, Mayor, it's nice to meet you, albeit virtually. And talagang tingnan nyo naman ang ating Mayor, no? Fresh na fresh, young na young. And speaking of young, Mayor, I'd like to ask, what are your thoughts, or what can you say about the importance of youth participation in governance? No? How can we encourage more youth to take on the challenge of entering public service?
The youth are a very big, and it's really important to have their voice, and to have their say in a lot of the programs that we do. Kasi sila talaga they will be the ones most affected by these programs because they would be going through the process. So it's nice to see now that we have, as has been mentioned to me several times, ang dami ng bata sa politika. So it's nice to see, and it's inspiring, and people are also happy. Maganda din yung feedback, fresh ideas. Uh, on the other side of politics, because of social media, I'm also seeing a lot more youths engage with politics. Kahit hindi sila nasa public sector, they still actively participate. They voice out their opinions, so they're getting more and more confident, which is really that for me. Even if you're not going to work in the public sector, it's so important for them to be able to voice their opinions. So I think more and more actually we're getting a lot more engagement um, in terms of encouraging the youth and to go into public service. As I said, social media is like a really important factor for that. There's a lot of messages that can come across, and kids are getting a lot more exposure. Magsuscroll lang sila sa TikTok, diba? Tapos nakikita nila agad yung information. It's also a big help for them to see younger politicians in action. Um, from the side of the LGU naman, to help encourage kids is to it's important to build that trust, and to build that relationship with that particular sector, if it means supporting, by supporting their programs, and making sure that they feel like they can go to you in the first place. Building that relationship, building that community, and also encouraging them to stay up to date with current affairs, and involving them in grassroots organizations. There's a lot we can do to encourage them, but to keep the ball rolling, keep them participative, keep them engaged. Uh, that's siguro yun, just to distill it down. Anyway,
Thank you. Thank you. Georgina, Mary.
Oo. Yes, thank you, Mayor Vianne, no, for sharing with us your journey also as a young leader in government, as a young politician. We know that it's not really a matter of age, no. It's really our ability to lead people. It's our vision, the vision that we have for our community. And
Yes.
you mentioned earlier that really what brought you here is, kumbaga, your family history, as daughter of former Mayor Vianne Cuevas, but listening to you right now and interacting with also dito sa Galingpok. I know that you really have great plans, no,
Yeah.
for Palayan City, Nueva Ecija. Maybe you could share with us, no, what your visioning the future output was in the module 4, no, and taking off from the legacy of your parents, but really building your own. What will differentiate your brand of leadership and your vision for Palayan City?
Yeah. Can I just like backtrack a little bit? Actually, my mom is a very modest person. Yung background is she was in nursing. She was the first person in our like immediate family to go into politics. But she took it head on. She had 5 kids, half of who were abroad. So it was a really difficult journey. I think uh, but every time came home, every time I went home, I would see her in her, you know, in her in her space, and uh, that would and it was so nice to see because I could see someone balancing that home life, but also bring that element of motherhood and family into her work, and kahit walang budget yung city, kahit sa sariling niyang from her own pocket, she would be like, you know what, like we'll make sure that you get home, or we'll make sure that you get out of the hospital, or it's really, really from the heart, as cheesy as that is. And uh, so I look to her a lot when I uh, in terms of building my own brand of leadership. Pero something struck me from what one of the mayors had said in one of our ANI meetings. Sabi niya in his second term, this is Mayor of Arteche. It just really struck me because I'm also trying to copy you. I can see for myself na kinokopy ko yung mom ko in some ways. Pero sabi niya, it's okay to differentiate yourself from that previous leadership. It's okay to, if you don't agree with the programs or you think that there's a way to do it better, it's okay to distance yourself from it. It doesn't have to be, I know, it doesn't have to be that way all the time. So I'm still, 6 months into the job, kaya I'm also trying to figure it out at the moment. But I've been what the direction that we're going towards. And I've talked about this with my mom also. Uh, Different phases, different stages of development require different kinds of leadership. Um, I don't know if you know much about the history of Nueva Ecija, but it wasn't always the peaceful. It wasn't always peaceful. Um, it wasn't always as structured. Uh, and I've come from a very corporate background where there's a lot of structure, where there's a lot of accountability, there's a lot of accountability. There's a lot of analytics. And my dream really is to bring that also here. But there's a balance to it. There's a lot of things that you need to consider. So that transition from a completely corporate mindset to having that in the public sector as well. So a touch more corporate, a touch more technical. Um, I think that might be the emphasis of the leadership. Because at the end of the day, for me, numbers talk. Like you really need data now. There's big data. We have the technology to do that kind of analysis, and I think it does make a big difference. So yeah,
Alam ko itong next question kay Kiko pero Kiko, I can't help but interject. Parang nakaka-inspire yung potential to really have new breed, new generation of leaders. Parang kasing ito yung ating hashtag bago tayo, di ba? Bagong mga leaders naman, it's so refreshing to hear data-driven governance,
yeah.
using, you mentioned big data, and to even dream, no, of bringing the discipline and the rigor of private sector in public service. I think
Mhm.
if you bring yung potential na yon, napakalaki. Ang laki ng magiging impact. So, I
Big
can't help
dream.
but really share how exciting. Pero ibabato ko kay kapatid na Kiko, anong tingin niya?
Well, one thing that struck me, Mayor, no, when you were mentioning about the openness of those who came before you and say that, these are the programs that we have done, and you're not required to do the same things the same way, no? And I think part of A plus I, na isa sa mga messages talaga ng A plus I, is that we are open to change, no? We take on good programs from our predecessors and innovate, be open, and inject yung mga innovations that you think, yung structure in corporate, no, and data driven governance, youth participation in governance, and Mayor, you're on the right track. If I may say. 6 months into the job, but I think you are in the right track, and we're very much excited. I hope I can visit Palayan, no? And yeah. So Georgina.
Oo, tsaka syempre may pa-shoutout din yun si Mayor kanina sa kanyang classmate sa A plus I, si Mayor Boy Evardone of Artesia, Eastern Samar. So he was our first guest this year on the A plus I batch natin dito sa Gina GN. So I'm sure nakikinig din. Nakita ko ni-like ni Mayor kahapon yung ating announcement. So I'm sure he's watching. So hello kay Mayor Evardone, one of our A plus I participants dito sa batch 3 with the Local Government Academy. So moving on to our next segment. Bago tayo magtapos, medyo serious yung topic natin kanina. So mini fun segment naman to, Mayor. And dapat fast talk ha, bawal mag-overthink. So tatawagin natin Gina G or Game na Game. Although medyo itong first round is work-related questions pa siya. Kapag sinabi kong RUG, Mayor Vianne, sasagot ka na parang Gen Z, nasasabihin, I'm Gina, Georgina. So, G ka na ba, Mayor Vianne?
G. Wait lang.
So, kinakabahan na siya. And heads up, talagang medyo work-related pa to. Kay Kiko mamaya baka mas fun ng konti. G ka ba sa importation ng sibuyas at bigas?
Oh, that's a complicated question.
Totoo.
Yes and no. I think there's a lot of things kailangan natin i-address before we go to that point of importation. Kasi we can't just stop it eh. If we stop it, kawawa naman yung mga retailers natin. But if we continue it, kawawa din yung farmers. So first we need to address the issue with traders. I'll say it outright. Malaking problem ng regulation ng traders that needs more. Yung project na pinasok namin sa Galing Pook last year was a product of my mom's team and yung cooperative namin. We were able to take off the middleman kasi the cooperatives are the ones directly storing in this cold facility. Pero what normally happens is that in private storages, the traders get all the onions, and then they have the power to manipulate the price at the market. I would like to think that we're self-sustaining. I would like to think that we have the capacity to be self-sustaining. Pero without if we don't do anything about the middleman, importing is. There's no point in forcing, like parang that's just that's a surface band-aid solution. Kumbaga, it's not an issue that addresses. It's not a solution that addresses the real.
Actually, thanks for answering, Mir, and medyo unfair, very complicated question. So, and I think you were able to nuance the issue, no, na it's really the balancing of access to food sufficiency and making sure that we really have access to it, no. Hindi lang tayo kailangan self-sufficient, kailangan accessible din itong mga pagkain na to, lalong-lalo na pagdating sa presyo at pagdating sa pag-access ng mga mahihirap. So, medyo complicated, but thank you for for explaining to us your thoughts on that. Siguro yun na yung pinakamahirap. And I'm sure alam ko yung answer mo sa next one. G ka ba sa pagkakaroon ng mas maraming cold storage facilities?
Well, yes.
Yun ang project nyo, and ikaw ang magiging spokesperson for that.
We would love to have more cold storages. Hopefully, what I would like to see is yung cooperative run cold storages. Yung maganda sa project namin is that it's really run by the cooperative, and then I think once nakita nila kaya pala ng cooperative or kaya ng federation, it's written in a manual. You can just get a copy. So for the listeners from other towns or cooperatives, they can actually come to our kasama and they can have a copy of yung manual of operations namin, paano nila ginawa yung program nila. We had to go through we actually got funding. We got a grant from World Bank, kaya lahat siya documented. So if you need a copy, even down to yung structure ng cold storages, if you're having a hard time, you can come. You're more than welcome to come to Palayan para kapag benchmark. And we had
So hindi lang bastang G sa cold storage facility, kundi cooperative run na cold storage facilities to maximize yung benefit. And the last question on this for my segment, then ipass ako kay Kiko, is G ka ba sa citizens' participation in governance?
Yes, I think that's a very important. You can't. How can you govern without the people and the people's opinion? Yeah.
Totoo. Ayan. So take it away, Kiko.
Salamat, Mayor Vianne. Ito naman pong next segment natin, kung kanina ay G na G ka ba? Ito naman ang tinatawag naming G me to me or give it to me. Ang ibig sabihin lang, Mayor, ay magbibigay ka lang ng kahit na anong word na nagsisimula sa letrang G. Or ang sagot mo dun sa tanong ko ay dapat mag-start sa letter G. Okay? So, test of rin to, vocabulary siguro, no? But anyway.
Pwedeng English, pwedeng Tagalog.
English.
Tagalog, pwedeng native dialect, no? So, Mayor Vianne, anong G ang magde-describe sa pamumuno mo bilang mayor?
Great. Charot.
True. Pwede. Great.
Embrace your greatness. Sige, ito naman, Mayor. Ano namang G ang related sa plataforma mo ngayon bilang mayor?
Wait, ang hirap na to. Sabi ko, agree ko.
Agree.
Oh my God, agree.
Para mas preferred yung question si Miss Georgina.
Pero why not? I mean, let's play around with the word agree. As one of your really innovative projects is related to agriculture, no? The cold storage ng mga sibuyas. Sige, next question tayo, Mayor. Anong G ang maipapayo mo sa mga aspiring youth leaders ng local government?
Can you repeat that?
Anong G ang maipapayo mo sa mga aspiring youth leaders ng local government?
Anong advice? Oh my God, this is so hard.
Mayor.
Wait lang, pressure. Napapressure.
Stress level number 100. Ganyan.
Yeah. Sadali lang.
Pwedeng go for gold. Ganyan.
Go for gold. Ayun. Ganito na lang.
Ganito na lang.
Those who are working in politics, who want to go into politics, mag-ano na lang kayo. Get ready. Be open. And Kumbaga, hirap na to. Or just keep to your values siguro din. Sorry, alam ko hindi G yan. Pero in politics talaga kasi ano ka dito, you're gonna pull here and there. Pero the reason you were voted in the first place was because of the values that you displayed in the first place.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Ako tutulungan ko si Mayor doon, no? Sabi, yung advice niya for young people, number 1 is get ready, no? Get ready. Second ay gawing open ang sarili.
Oo.
Ang last ay gabay, ang kahalagahan ng gabay, no? Gabay ng values, no? And your principles, so yun. So, ito naman, Mayor, ano namang G ang magde-describe sa Palayan City?
Growing.
And last G, Mayor, anong G ang pangarap mo para sa mga taga-Palayan?
Thesaurus daw.
Ha?
Nagre-thesaurus. Search, ganyan.
Oh, wait la. Oh my God. Gender sensitive, agro-industrial, smart city. Agro-industrial hub, smart city.
Very good.
I think matutuwa si Ma'am Boyan Dorotan sa answer na yan. As our gender advocate.
Yeah.
Our gender mentor ng God sa Galing Pook.
Salamat, Mayor, for being Gina G. Georgina, take it away.
Ayan. So, ito na yung last part na joke-joke na lang. So, pero bawal mag-pass and kailangan mabilis. Ang susunod na segment naman ay GTK, Getting to Know You. Pipili ka lang sa dalawang option na ibibigay ko. No context and no explanations needed. Number 1, rice or pasta?
Rice.
Netflix and chill or party all night?
Oh, Netflix and chill.
Number 3. Hindi naman yata nila gets lahat. De joke lang. Sweet or salty?
Salty.
City girl or country girl? Both. See? Bestie ko na si Mayor. Gets ko na. Fame or fortune?
Oh, fulfillment. Charot.
Fulfillment. May third category.
Good.
When payag ka doon, Kiko, may third category.
Oo naman.
Fulfillment. Ito, pipili ulit. Love or money?
Love.
Winning the lottery or finding your soulmate?
Winning the lottery.
Para mahanap mo yung soulmate mo. Winning the lottery.
Mahanap
So
ka sa
you can
lottery.
find your soulmate pag umikot ka ng buong mundo. So ito, bawal mag-pass. Your ultimate artista or political crush?
Oh. Actually, I don't know any art. Hindi ko kabisado yung artista dito.
Pwedeng international. Pwede ring politiko.
Crush ko.
Or pwedeng international.
Pwede ko ba sabihin yung boyfriend ko na lang?
Ay, taken pala si Mayor. My God.
Taken si Mayor.
Parang mas
Pero hindi
grabe
siya
yung reveal mo
political.
sa amin. Taken pala si Mayor. So, FYI lang sa lahat. And lastly, superpower na gusto mo.
Oh. Teleportation. That would be nice.
Ano? Sorry?
Teleportation.
Oh.
Sa ibang ano. Oh.
Pwede.
Para mas dali daw benchmark ang iba-ibang mga
Oo
cities.
nga eh.
Hindi magasto.
Hindi ko alam kung isang meeting and yung isa.
Yes.
Totoo. I think we all need a teleport machine.
Yeah.
Pag na-invento yan.
Okay.
Maraming salamat, Mayor Vianne. And that concludes our fun segments today, from serious questions to getting to know you, to getting also to know the vision, your vision for Palayan City. Maraming salamat po sa pagiging game na game sa Galing Pook Show. At hindi pa tapos, last na. Meron kaming isang sentence na gustong ipakumpleto sa iyo. So, bilang pagtatapos, Mayor Vianne, ano ang good governance para sa iyo?
Good governance for me. I think transparency, accountability, transparency, being transparent and accountable talaga. And then hindi lang yung puro salita tapos yun, good governance. And also engagement with yung community. Sometimes I'm actually guilty ako dito. Sometimes you're also so stuck in the office all the time, pero it's my mom always, she always encouraged me, like, oh, lumabas ka, you go down, and then you meet the people, you always touch base with them, talk to yung cooperatives, constant communication. Okay?
Yeah, thank you so much, Maria. Good governance, transparency, and accountability. No explanations needed. We need that in our government. So, thank you so much, Mayor, and we'll see you in the upcoming sessions natin sa A+I. Ingat po.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ayan. Once again, thank you very much. Kiko, bago tayo magtapos, kasi ang hindi alam ng mga nanonood sa atin, and so surprise kita, naging part ka rin dati ng A+I, no? With UNICEF. Baka pwede ka rin magkwento ng experience nyo, no? Working with our local government units, and ano yung pinaka-na-takeaway mo dito sa journey ng A+I?
Yeah, actually, my first, yung first time ko na ma-involve sa A+I, that was a time when I was very much active in citizens participation, etc. And the A+I program of Galing Pook was not only very inspiring, no, pero napaka-importante na merong mga institusyon kagaya ng Galing Pook na tumutulong sa LGU, sa mga iba't ibang LGU, to help scale up and innovate programs, dahil isang realidad, no? Isang realidad that we are facing is the reality that things are changing so fast. And if our LGU cannot cope with the fast changing time, then mahihirapan. Kaya very inspiring yung A+I, yung ng A+I engagement with Galing Pook. At saka doon na buhay yung ating Bago Tayo Youth Network. No?
Na buhay pa rin at palalawakin natin yung ating Bago Tayo Youth Network. And totoo ako doon sa kinuwento mo na yung fast-changing context, yung tinuturo kasi natin dito sa adaptive leadership, hindi lang siya yung mga technical skills pero it's really an approach, a way of doing things, being able to keep up with all of the changes, and dapat mabilis and nakikita natin yung results na yon. So we're very happy that this time around nakapagkwentuhan tayo tungkol sa A+I. Usually about the Galing Pook Awards lang pero ngayon ito napakahalagang program. Yes.
And just to add, Georgina, no, isa sa mga highlights talaga na nakita ko at innovations ng Galing Pook sa A+I. And we see this in the composition of our LGU who are cohorts, no, in our A+I program. Yung importance ng intergenerational participation. Na totoo that we see that there are a lot of young leaders, no, joining government at by having them come together and work together, nakikita natin that the young learn from the wisdom of the older ones, and the older ones learn from the energy and creativity of the young people. tungkol. So, isa yung napakagandang nagpo-flourish ngayon sa A+I program natin.
Totoo. And very happy to hear all of those things from you. And I'm sure mas marami pang mga kwento tungkol dito sa intergenerational na mga interactions ng mga young leaders and they really have a lot to offer. So nakakatuwa. And tuloy-tuloy natin tong kwentuhan na to. Nabanggit ko yung aside from A+I, Galing Pook Awards, no? We just launched the Galing Pook Awards last Friday. And we hope that the LGUs and their partners will be interested to join this year's Galing Pook Awards. It's the 30th year of since we launched the Galing Pook Awards, and talagang kailangan natin, naghahanap tayo ng mga innovative, mga makabagong paraan para i-address yung mga challenges na na-encounter, especially on climate change and then recovering from the effects of the pandemic and the lockdown. So looking forward ako dito, Kiko, sa lahat ng mga marireceive natin na applications.
Exciting 30 years of Galing Pook. Ganadong-ganado tayo. At alam ko na ang audience natin ay ganadong-ganado din sa ating episode ngayon. Pero kailangan muna natin magpaalam muna. And bibitinin muna namin kayo. At sana patuloy natin pag-isipan kung true ba talaga na posible ang good governance.
Ay, nako, I really want to believe na true dahil talagang we need to make it true. But of course, we need to all work for that, no? And ask ourselves if we deserve good governance. And how do we avail of it, no? Paano ba yan ma-avail ang good governance na yan? But all together, let's make that happen. Nakaka-excite, lalo na dahil malinaw ang itsura at alam nating posible ang good governance sa mga kwento na narinig natin mula kay Mayor Vianne, mula kay Kiko sa ating karanasan sa A+I. So kita-kits sa ating susunod na episode. Muli, ako si Georgina para sa Gina G, The Galing Pook Show.
Bye!